Have you ever wondered how are climbing holds created? As climbers, they're the basis of the fun and interesting climbs we pull on every day. They allow route setters to create unique and aesthetic problems. The very design of certain climbing holds could even be considered as art. My name is Jonathan, and in this episode, I got an unprecedented invite to the Under Blue Hold workshop in Tokyo. I interviewed the creator of the brand, Masaki Yasuda, in an attempt to understand the process and artistry behind some of the most beautiful climbing holds in the world. We've just made it to the Under Blue Hold studio. I have no idea what's going on just yet, but we're very lucky to be here. We have Masaki-san, who is creator of the brand Under Blue Holds. Thank you very much for letting us film here. Is it okay if we start going to the process of you making the holds? Let's go! Masaki-san just told me this is the first step of shaping hold. So we have the bigger, proper versions of the foam in the back. Can you show me some of the tools you use to shape?
もちろん。
Yep, let's go.
一番最初にブロックを切るのはこれで。
Using tools such as a camping saw, a hand file, and a foam cutter, Masaki-san creates a rough shape of the hold straight from his mind.
これは表に出てない新しいシェイプ。
Then using high grit sandpaper, all the edges and bumps are smoothened out. Wow, this is very fine. I think it doesn't even cut my skin. Actually, I can play on it and still okay. After more sanding, and I mean a lot more sanding, he ends up with this really good looking, very ergonomic hold. Here we have the different stages. Here is what we showed just now, the foam shaping process, which is the majority of his work. He creates a shape and slowly shapes everything, sanding everything down, and once he's happy and satisfied with the product, he's gonna send it off to the factory and they pour the molds. We have the original foam and they've poured the gel on top, so it has a much harder shape. You can still see the foam is still underneath and they've only poured the gel on top. So this is stage 2. So after this, we have the molds. To make the macros, usually they will pour polyester and this glass fiber. They haven't put any texture on, so it's super slippy and it'll be a nightmare climbing on this. That's why we have the final texture where I put the sand on. There are different choices of grain as well. There's the rougher surface and it's more smooth, very modern type of grip, and you have the final products. This is what we all want to shred our skin and bleed on. Do you always have an idea in your head first, or is it a process of exploration and as you shape, you find more inspiration?
すごくある。なんかイメージしてたのがこう凝ってってやっぱこっちの方がいいかなっていう風に変わることはまあ意外と多くて。
See, when you say aesthetic, so the beauty of the holds is a very important part of your shaping process.
ホールドの流れ難しいよね。流れって表現する。見た時にこう違和感のないシェイプ。こうライン流れが一番大事ないような気がしてる。
For one hold, is there an estimate of how long it would take for him to really form an idea? Maybe if he doesn't like it, will he start all over again?
これ1個作るってなったらどのぐらいだろう。1日はかかっちゃうかもしれない。
最短で1日。
このサイズだったら、まあ、1日でできたらあんまりこう何日もかけてもいいものができるってものではないから、1日でなるべく短い時間で終わらせたい。
I see that all the holds work together and they have the same style and flow. Do you think about the whole series of holds when you're making, or only one at a time?
めちゃめちゃいい質問。まあそう感じてくれるのはすごい嬉しいことだし、まあこう 登ってくれる人の目に留まるような商品っていうのはずっと考えてる。変わりたくなるっていう感じ。
UBH as a brand has actually been incredibly successful in recent years, being the only Asian brand which is included in the IFSC list of authorized holds and macros producers. The very holds that were used in the Hachioji World Cup. Oh my god! The brand's most recognized hold, the Maguro, some call it a tuna, is one of the most sought after holds in the world. Not only do these holds look aesthetic on the wall, they're also very ergonomic, which creates a very pleasant climbing experience. In fact, the waiting list for these holds is actually a few months long. Despite its success, Masaki-san came from humble beginnings. He started climbing over 20 years ago on a wall built at his friend's house, similar to the ones on the screen here. They had no money to buy climbing holds, which is why he started to create his own. Alright, now we're in front of one of the most famous holds in the world at the moment. It's the Maguro. It's got half Outtakes made in carbon fiber and the normal texture. How much does competition roots inspire you, or do you try and create shapes that challenge root setters to be more creative?
すごく難しい質問だな。難しいね。個人的には好きではない。
Doesn't like Outtakes. Oh, no.
コンペは使ってもらう、どうやったら使ってもらうかっていうのはなんとなく分かっているけども、シェイパーとしてはそれが全てではないっていう感じ。コンペに出ているクライマーだけがクライマーではなく、普通のクライミングジムに来てるクライマーもクライマーだと思ってて、その人たち全員が楽しんでもらえるようなものがこう全ての原動力というか、そういう感じかな。
I think it's done that for sure. I think the other day when I was at mountain climbing, the first holds I went to are definitely the biggest, prettiest holds, and in that case, it was the under holds. Why is creating holds by yourself so important?
いや、まあ、好きで一人でやってるっていうのもあるし、まあこれから先もうちょっと大きくなったらもっと人が増えてった方がいいのかなとも思ってるけど、でもお願いしたい人とかはやっぱりいるかなっていう、そのシェイプに関して言うと。
In the future, maybe you'll get some more help.
シェイプ、難しいね。難しいな。
That might have been my favorite moment in the interview. I think it sums up Masaki-san's personality and the spirit of Under Blue Hold as a brand really well. From looking at Masaki-san's working process, talking to him about how his ideas are formed, and actually climbing on holds which he shaped. It's not difficult to see how much dedication this man puts into his work. The UBH brand is simply an extension of him, and letting someone else into his work would be the same as giving his own child away. I can't believe I have the opportunity to see all this and document it. These are things we would never get to see normally as climbers. Such a special opportunity. Lastly, I just want to thank Masaki-san for giving us the time to show us this delicate craft of creating climbing holds, and Ikuko, who helped with the translations throughout the making of this video. This video would not have been possible without her. Hopefully you learned a thing or two from this video about the climbing holds that we touch every day. In the next episode of this Japanese climbing series, I have a climbing session with one of the few female route setters in Japan, Mei Nagasako.
No.
Make sure you subscribe to not miss out on that, and I will see you on the next one.